Welcome back, everybody. Patrick Morrison here with SimTrax Broadcasting and the Coast to Coast Racing Network at Coast to Coast Racing League here tonight. We're looking at Eldora Speedway, constructed by Earl Baltz in 1954. Eldora became a fixture of the United States Auto Club schedule in the 1960s. With World Sprint Cars, its featured attraction in the events like the Eldora 500. Keep in mind, in 1971, Baltz staged the inaugural World 100, widely considered to be the birth of the modern dirt late model racing, and became a staunch supporter of the World Outlaw Sprint Series upon its founding in 1978. This track was actually sold later on to the Triple Crown winner, NASCAR champion Tony Stewart back in 2004. Now, Tony Stewart's taken this track. He's done a bunch of new upgraded spectator amenities, safety, medical facility, while continuing to host signature events like the King's Royal, the Dirt Late Model Dream, and even in 2012, the Aspen Dental Dirt Derby featured the Camping World Truck Series here. So definitely should be a good run here tonight with the Gambler Motorsports Topside Tuesday. You guys tuned in yesterday to me running Monday Night Madness for Marty Zacala, but we are back at home on Tuesdays, and we got a pile up for you here tonight. But let's go ahead and quickly slide on over and kind of figure out what we've got going on via qualifying. First, I want to start out with, let's see how the race is looking here tonight. 30 laps of the Pro Late Models. They'll have one faster pair sitting in the back for them, so that'll work out pretty well. Only half-mile track this is going to be here in Rossburg, Ohio, so definitely watch out for that. We're taking an eye. Biggest thing I want to note here is that humidity level, about 62%, so the tack is going to wear off pretty quick, and they're going to be running, obviously, very, very high line. Starting off for tonight. We are already into qualifying here. Qualifying, of course, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. They're quality racing bodies produced by former international regional short track champion Dan Chapman in the iRacing hotbed of Clarence, Iowa. Let's take a look at some of our better times out here. See where these guys are landing, because it should push them on around. Isaac Salas knew was in the booth with me yesterday. He's going to give his shot at the Pro Late Models, as well as Brandon Ishkanyan, that we're keeping our eyeballs on here in the number 19. Normally we actually see him out there on the asphalt, but out there in the chat he's saying root him on and wish him luck, because he's going to try it here tonight. 9th place for him so far. That should be the end of his qualifying run. Everybody else has gotten some time. Bob DeGood is about the last one out here, and we'll see what he's got for us. Would say it's a lot harder than it looks out there, trying to make sure you can get a solid time out here. About another minute left in qualifying. Bob DeGood is sitting 8th, trying to finish that final lap, seeing if he can get just a little more, but I think that's going to do it for him. 8th, and Nathan Aldrich in the 514 has got to lay some time down here if he wants to get out to a solid start. Now, I would take a peek. No penalties here tonight for the Pro Lates. Now, I can't say that for the NASCAR trucks. It looks like some things happened over in the Xfinity Series that will bleed over into the Tim Chapman Pickup Cup for about 3 drivers. We'll see if they show up tonight. I expect it to be a wild night. We are at some of the most famous tracks that really gather a whole lot of drivers. Eldora Speedway is a lot of people's favorite out here, and then later on tonight, we actually head to Talladega for the trucks. So definitely, I'm expecting to see 3 wide racing there. There's no reason why we shouldn't. So we're going to see how it goes. Out there in the chat, Stella, hey, Patrick, turning in for a little dirt, but really waiting around for the asphalt. Well, if you've noticed, I'm starting to get into the dirt a little bit more here. We did a little bit on Sunday and filled in for Marty yesterday, and we're here today. So 3 days of dirt for me. They're starting to blend together. I think my head's getting a little bit cloudy of where we are sometimes, but we are here at the Coast to Coast Racing Network and the Racing League here. Let's see how well these guys get it done, because Heat 1 should be getting ready to get going here. I know these guys are pretty ready to get on the track. Let's talk a little bit about our Heat 1 sponsor out there, Langton Mechanical. They're your second to none heat and air conditioning company in the Hamilton area, and promised by their customers that their own professionally trained Langton specialists will be there personally every step of the way. They guarantee the customer satisfaction from start to finish, including sales, installation, maintenance service of their heating and/or cooling systems. Every equipment sale, installation, and maintenance service call they make is backed 100% by Langton Mechanical. Let's try to take a peek at some of our drivers who are getting warmed up here behind that Steve King Foundation pace truck. Let's see how they start. Jeff Barker and Brandon Templeton will be front row. Terry Landis, Jeffrey Kemper, row 2, and rounding out the back, I think Nathan Aldridge. Yeah. No qualifying time for him, but back of the heat 1 here for him. So let's see if he can get blasted through the field here and get a better starting spot on the feature grid. Hope for a good turnout here. Right now, Jeffrey Kemper looking out there at the points. We'll mention the points here in just maybe a little bit. We'll mention them now. A&J Customs, so actually providing you the standings here. We're taking a look at Jeffrey Kemper. Actually has moved down 4 spots. I believe he missed last week's race down to 519. He was sitting second, and that allowed everybody else to move up. So Mr. Kemper here in the 181's got to do one heck of a job here at Eldora to kind of rebound back. Let's get underway. Green flag is out. Only 6 laps in this heat. Let's see how they do. Jeff Barker in the front, but I'm going to watch out here for Brandon Templeton. I think he's going to be the kind of the man, the dangerous one out here as he gets pulled away, just as I thought. And away he goes. Jeffrey Kemper following along. Jeffrey Kemper all the way back to 5th, so first to last in a matter of a lap. Brandon Templeton sitting first. Jeffrey Kemper chasing him in 2nd. Terry Landis riding that low line as always. There he goes. Terry Landis on the bottom, and Nathan Aldridge has come from the back trying to see if he can run down Terry Landis here. Jeffrey Kemper is running some fast laps, so I will say he ran the fastest on the track between 1 and 2, but Brandon Templeton picked up the pace between 3 and 4. So the distance still remains between these two. Kemper trying to reel him in here. There it is. Gets only only enough to fit about a tennis ball between the front fender and the rear quarter panel of these two guys here. Kemper slides to the inside. Oh, is the inside line going to hold? Yeah, there we go. But Brandon Templeton showing definitely the discipline and the confidence in the outside line. Kemper may be falling off here and have to find a new line to get on that one. White flag out should be this time by for Brandon Templeton. He had a good 1 and 2 there. Definitely scurrying away. Good 3 and 4. His fastest lap of the night, 15:76 for him. About 4 tenths, actually 4 tenths faster than Jeffrey Kemper. So Kemper may have to figure out how to yank out half a second here if they go to the feature like this. So Templeton, Kemper, Landis for Heat 1. Oh, man, come on, guys. I'm outrunning you. Let's go. Let's get ready. Heat 2. I know Isaac Salas is out there. He's got to be in this second heat. Oh, he's not. Oh, all right. Well, let's take a look at our second one. Brandon Ishkanyon, Bob DeGood, 1 and 2. Randy Shreves and Kurt Schatzer, 3 and 4. Wow. Yeah, Randy Shreves actually sitting second in the points with 563. And our points leader, Kurt Schatzer, sitting there with 636. Interesting to see how this heat kind of strung out here. I think I had a few more drivers that were going to be ready to go on this one. I think Brandon Ishkanyon might get schooled on this one. He's got some of the faster drivers right behind him, Schatzer and Shreves. That should be pretty good, especially on the invert here. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to our Heat 2 sponsor, brought to you by Venom Racing. Venom Racing team is here at C2C, consists of guys from all ages, from all parts of the United States. You'll recognize some familiar names like Isaac Salas, Brian Lawson, Kevin Davis, Mark Gilbert, Malachi Smith, Charlie Weaver, and Gary Segelko, to name a few. Venom Racing is a proud sponsor of the Coast to Coast Racing League's 358 Modified Division. Right now, I believe out over in the mods, in the Modified Division, 358s and the big blocks, Mr. Isaac Salas with Venom Racing is leading both those leagues. You'll find them on Thursday Night Thunder with Travis Piercefield. All right, Brandon Ishkanyon, now's your time to shine here. He'll be in the front. He's got to get a good jump on Bob DeGood. I know Bob's been on a pretty decent run here. He's only been able to compete. This will be his 4th race here, sitting 22nd in points. So he's got a long way to go. So let's see what he can do. Pretty consistent on the restart here. 2 guys in the back have competed in all races, Shreves and Schatzer. Like I said, in points-wise, this is 1 and 2, the 56 and the 218. Oh, man, Ishkanyon's getting dumb. Look out. Bob DeGood is able to squirt out of there. Kurt Schatzer scurries away, and now Randy Shreves. Now looking at Brandon Ishkanyan behind him, but that's okay. Brandon's first time out here. Let's see how he does. Kurt Schatzer watching Randy Shreves on the inside. Bob DeGood has him double wide behind him. Which line does he decide to go? We may end up jamming him up. Not saying Bob DeGood isn't doing a heck of a job here, but really, it's not easy when you got these two guys kind of barreling down on you. Here we go. Bob DeGood still leading this one past the halfway mark. Bob DeGood under fire by Kurt Schatzer. Randy Shreves is letting him have at it. Right now, Schatzer wants to run the high line, but not having any luck with it. Shreves is about to send it 3 wide. Yeah, baby. Randy Shreves makes contact there with Kurt Schatzer, and that allows Brandon Ishkanyan to score it on out of there. High line seems to be working. Brandon Ishkanyan might have found his groove here into the cushion up top. Able to plant and stick and move here. He's now moved himself up to third. Now we got the white flag out. Oh, no. Little hook in the wall. That'll do it for him. Let's see if Schatzer's got anything for Bob DeGood here as Randy Shreves is off by over half a second off Schatzer. So right now we may be seeing it right here unless Schatzer can send it. Nope. Bob DeGood, Schatzer, Shreves, and Ishkanyan. Not too bad. Dang. Bob DeGood hanging it out there. Now we're going to head to the warm-up. Yeah, I was going to say, probably should have opened my eyes. We didn't see Isaac Souse out there because I believe he ended up getting the pole. So he ended up being able to nix that run. That moves us to our warm-up. Warm-up will last about 3 minutes. That'll give us a chance to talk about the Ohsweken Speedway, sponsor of our warm-up. The Ohsweken Speedway, you can actually catch all their action every Friday night, free on GeForce TV, featuring live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, all free. GeForce TV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action all across Ontario. Pretty good idea to see some of these guys out here all doing pretty awesome out here. We do want to give a shout-out for the Pitside podcast out there. You guys can take tune in to join Preston and Roger on Sundays as they bring you all the happenings inside and outside the Coast to Coast Racing League. I believe last episode was with Gavin Chatham. I know I've been on there. I'm not too good at interviews, but it's definitely something to see if you want to learn a little more about the drivers out there. But let's talk about the driver of the week. Dirt Series was Dustin Sargent for week 10. He actually started 13th and passed got all the way up to P2, so that's 11 cars. And then for the Asphalt Series, Sean Grace. He was actually in the Xfinity Series. And he started 21st and won it, passing 20 cars, so not too bad for Sean Grace out there. We'll see Sean Grace, I guarantee you, later on here in the run. He won there at Daytona last Tuesday. That should be definitely a switch up there. Guys, I do want to mention out there the Coast to Coast Racing School. Check out the C2C Racing School where our league's top drivers have volunteered to help league drivers improve their driving skills free of charge. They will be offering help on various skill sets such as qualifying, driving line, driver awareness, and setup advice. So you can go to c2crl.com and schedule a session. Guys, there's definitely a lot of things there at that C2CRL. .com website. You'll be able to find all sorts of things out there, what our schedules are, what the points are running out there, what we're broadcasting, what we're not broadcasting, what the schedule is, and what you want to race, kind of a league fees that may go. If you're looking to sponsor any part of these races, you can find it all there at c2crl.com, and that'll be exactly what you're looking for out there. Warm-up is concluding here in about 10 seconds. Right now, Isaac Souse, Brandon Templeton, Kurt Schatzer, 1, 2, and 3 out there in the field. Just getting out there and kind of smushing the track down just a little more, see if they can make it a little more slick and definitely be able to power around here. There we go. There's the completion of our warm-up. Yeah, Isaac Souse doing really well here. Eldora, this may be his track. I know we'll see him at Talladega. He promised me he'd be there for that one. All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup. Isaac Souse and Patrick Spangler. front row with Brandon Templeton and Bob DeGood sitting in the second row. Jeffrey Kemper in the 181 looking to make up some points on the points leader, who's sitting 6th of Kurt Schatzer. Terry Landis is running 7th with Mr. Consistency is sitting 8th place. I definitely expect to see a top 5, if not a podium, out of Randy Shreves. Nathan Aldridge will be starting 9th, Brandon Ishkanyan 10th, and Jeff Barker. We saw how he ended up in the front of one of those heats and then ended up falling off, but Jeff Barker's going to try his way on this one. And that'll be the end of our Super Good Dirt Car Series starting lineup. The Northeast Premier Series showcasing the big block modifieds premier drivers from Florida to Canada. The Super Dirt Car Series visits some of the most exciting dirt tracks in front of the biggest crowds. So the ground-pounding, earth-shattering, window-rattling beasts of the Northeast, it's the Super Dirt Car Series, and the Pro Late models are at least one of them out there. Isaac Salas looking pretty sharp out there. We'll see how well he does against Patrick Spangler. Spangler right now doing really, really well when it comes to the standings. Spangler is sitting tied with Randy Shreves at 563 and trying to hunt down Kurt Schatzer, who got an early lead here in the series. John Hine ended up winning the first race. Kurt Schatzer, I think, went 3 races second place and finally got his big break, got himself a win, and he's been on a hot streak as of so far. So, see out there in the chat, Matt Robinson, Stella's here to watch me crash on the last lap. I would say, Stella, you tell us saying a little practicing out there, but I would say I don't know how much practicing you actually need at a super speedway. What you do need is a spotter. Definitely let you know if somebody is there on the inside or the outside, not merge into somebody and kill them. All right. Speaking of kill him here, Isaac Salas and Patrick Spangler, he's going to be looking to do a little something here on this start. Initial start of the race. Let's get going here at Eldora Speedway. Yeah, Spangler gets a little jump there on the outside off of Salas. Salas is going to try to slide up in front of Spangler. But look at Patrick Spangler outside for him running that cushion. It's definitely going to be something. I want to stay on that 39 here because he's getting ready to make a little switch up on Salas. There it is. There's the crossover. Salas now on the top. Spangler on the bottom. Slider. Isaac Salas sees it. Crossover underneath. Salas doing an excellent job to stay in the lead. But Brandon Templeton, definitely a veteran in the dirt, running awesome out there, trying to see if he can find a weak spot, not between one but both these guys. Spangler recollects the lead. Isaac Salas crosses him over yet again. Yeah, Isaac Salas is kind of noticing these things are kind of like the big blocks in the 358s. Everything's based on all that momentum into the turn and then let the engine send you the rest of the way through. Isaac Salas down on the bottom. Spangler blocks Templeton. Templeton starting to reel him in. We are staying on the top 3. I know there are battles going on there in the back. Aldridge is falling down to 11th. Randy Shreves still sitting 8th. They're back there with Terry Landis in 7th. Still working on that. But right now, these guys shuffling for the lead, 2nd and 3rd place seems to be where the battle is on the track. Brandon Templeton running his fastest time of the track with 15:76 here. Right now he's on the move. He's moved up one position looking for that final one. Connects with the wall right at the line. You see the damage now to the spoiler. Will that cause a problem for the remainder of this race? But we are less than a third of it into it here, and this is going to be a tight one. Brandon Templeton looking for some room here. Now Isaac Salas, 15:74 his last lap. They match. Both of their times are the best ones out there on the track. Let's take a look at it. We'll pop that out. You can see that 15:74 for both of them. So definitely looking pretty tight here on that best time. What can they do moving back and forth here? Brandon Templeton, he's going to have a restart. He should be starting alongside of Isaac Salas as we are under caution. All right, let's take a look at our Malcolm Mills mill riding replay based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm's Mill Riding is a full-service mill riding contractor featuring custom welding, fabricating, and servicing industrial clients. Look them up at mmmillwriting.com or Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding on Facebook. Jeff Barker seems to be collected in this one. Let's take a look. Oh, little contact there with Ishkanyan here, and it looks like, that actually may have been much earlier. Let's see if we can actually find Jeffrey Kemper in the middle of this. Rotate up to Kemper. Oh, Schatzer. Schatzer into the good. Oh, there's Landis. No, there's Shreves. Wow. Took out the back 5 guys here. All right. We'll see how this goes. Like I was saying earlier, these guys have a faster pair, only one. So how long will this take? I know Jeffrey Kemper, that car's mashed to pieces. Not looking good for that Young Gun Creations paint. Randy Shreves, he's mangled. Both these guys probably had to tow here, showing they are still sitting down pit. Terry Landis looks like he survived. It's Brandon Ishkanyon, he's got some damage. And Jeff Barker has some damage. Kurt Schatzer seemed to have squeaked out of that one. And originally, you know what's kind of always a bummer is when you see Kurt Schatzer, you know, it made contact here with Bob DeGood, and then the rest of the field got caught up in it. So now Isaac Salas is going to have to deal with Brandon Templeton here. Brandon Templeton's really been on a hot streak as of late. When he comes on the track, he can definitely get some wins out there. He at least has one in this series. So Isaac Salas gets a great jump on the line. Let's see if we can get squeaked through. Already bumping and banging yet again. I think Kurt Schatzer is going to give Bob DeGood a little taste of his medicine. He keeps that up. Bob DeGood definitely sliding on the inside of Patrick Spangler here. Patrick Spangler might be losing a position to Bob DeGood. Riding the cushion, topside, yeah. Patrick Spangler gets slid around. Kurt Schatzer now on the outside of DeGood. Schatzer not like riding that Terry Landis low line there, and now he's going to pull away. Isaac Salas, good turn one, 779, best of the night. Good here so far. Isaac Salas now starting to get about a half a second lead over top of Brandon Templeton. But don't count Templeton out. We aren't even halfway yet. And I expect to see that 31 turn on the afterburners as soon as this track starts slicking up a little bit. Patrick Spangler sitting third. Kurt Schatzer moved up 2 into 4. Bob DeGood sitting 5th. And Jeff Barker, 5-position gain here, sitting 6th. Right now, everybody out on the track. It looks like Jeffrey Kemper is the only one a lap down. Randy Shreves sitting 10th. These guys were able to come in, get a quick repair, and get back out there. But man, you hate to see these guys are running up in the front, now all the way in the back. Terry Landis trying to make some moves on Jeffrey Barker. Barker holding the outside line. Landis, when he spends time on the bottom there, it doesn't wear out as fast as the top as these other guys. So you'll see Landis actually be able to make up some time and get him. Move for the lead. Looks like Isaac Salas ended up losing the lead here to Brandon Templeton. Let's take a quick look back at that as Isaac Salas is trying to shuffle it around here. Let's take a look. I wonder if Isaac Salas got into the wall. Yep, he did, right there. And Templeton walks on around. Wow. All right. That'll be for your Malcolm's Mill riding replay. And let's get back to it, halfway mark. So Isaac Salas, the woes continue as Patrick Spangler is now taking him over. And it looks like he's going on back. Brandon Templeton now starting to pull away, got a second lead on him. So like, as the track wears down, the speed picks up. Templeton get pulled away, waits for Spangler and see if he can get a little something here. Isaac Salas sitting in third, Kurt Schatzer up to 4th. Right now, if Schatzer can continue these constant top 5s, if not podiums here, he should be looking pretty hot to keep into the lead. Right now, he's got about a 90-point comfortable lead over Randy Shreves, with Shreves right now back in 9th. He just overtook Brandon Ishkanyon and trying to run down Nathan Aldrich. It's showing Jeffrey Kemper there in front of him in the 181. Kemper is that lap down. Rotating back up front, see how Jeff Barker's able to hold these guys off. Everybody kind of single file out here on the track. Nobody really close to one another. And actually, times are starting to slow down on the track. Everybody's settling in a little bit. As we reach about lap 20 here, only about 10 laps left to go. Hardest charger of the race is Jeff Barker here. Not too bad by him making the moves out here where he needs to make them. Oh boy, caution. See Patrick Spangler down the bottom here. Don't know if something happened there. Let's take a look at actually Patrick Spangler here and see what happened. Oh, yep, and then Isaac got him. Yeah, just such close racing. You kind of saw when it clipped that right rear end. Patrick Spangler, it spins him around. Now, what I would question is, does Patrick Spangler come down pit and get a faster pair and try to straighten this car out? that some of these other guys might not be thinking. And looks like he is down pit road. Mr. Spangler's coming. Let's take an eyeball on his car and see what he does. Boop. There it goes. Right rear fixed. Out he goes. I don't know about you, Stella. I think that's a pretty cool thing about iRacing. He gets to at least continue out there on the track. This brings up to another Mission 22 restart. Brandon Templeton still leading this race. Pace car lights should be off this time around. Let's go ahead and talk about actually that pace truck. Since it's been out here a couple times tonight, Steve King Foundation pace truck was formed to help save the dirt track racing community across the country by providing financial assistance to drivers, pit crew members, racing officials, track operations personnel, or the immediate families of those individuals who suffer serious injury, illness, or death. If you're looking to learn more, go to www.stevekingfoundation.org. I guarantee you we will see the pace truck or the car at Talladega. C2C definitely tries to run close, but guys hammer each other to pieces. Brandon Templeton going to be looking at Isaac Salas on his outside as we get under this last restart here, hopefully for the Pro Late models. Mission 22 restart, that is. Isaac Salas now sitting second. He's got Kurt Schatzer, the points leader, sitting in third. Already a little bumping, banging by these drivers out here on the track. It looks like Salas is trying to see if he can find a little something. Try to leave Benham Racing a higher podium position. He was originally in the lead, now catching the wall. And you definitely, and I think that would probably be what's getting me at this point, is you see how low that cushion is, or how close it's getting to the wall. There's not really any room for error here. And the biggest place it needs to be put is in the beginning of the turns and the end of the turns. And right when you see these guys are exiting, it's just so thin, there's almost nothing left. So Isaac Salas is going to try that bottom Terry Landis line for the slider. Brandon Templeton crosses him over side by side at the line. Oh, little contact there with Brandon Templeton. Looks like Salas catches the wall, trying to recover this turn. Battle for the lead again. Salas is trying to use the top end to see if he can rotate his way on through. Templeton is able to correct mid-turn right high on the way on the exit so he can get some turn exit speed to keep away from the 05 of Isaac Salas. Rotating back here to Kurt Schatzer, still in the chase, watching it all happen. Not really going to have any choice here, really, of what these two are doing in front of him. Looking off the nose here of Kurt Schatzer. Not too bad there by Kurt Schatzer. Biggest mover of the race, hardest charger right now is Jeff Parker. He's up 6th position, so he may be our all-about tie-dye hard charger award here tonight. But we'll see how he does. Patrick Spangler from the previous caution here is looking on the outside. 4th place for him. And definitely, I would say, no damage. Some of these cars are bent up pretty bad. This is his chance to return back to the front. Isaac Salas under fire by Kurt Schatzer here. Templeton is broken away by 1.5 seconds. So this may be the battle, as Templeton's going to bring home another win here in this league. Templeton is at least has 1 win here. Isaac Salas was trying to get one here tonight. It looks like Schatzer may have had a little stumble there. And it's fallen down. Patrick Spangler, he's got a couple laps here to take it on. There they go around. Patrick Spangler into 3rd. Oh, Jeff Parker. I said it too early. He's gonna I'm gonna get an earful for that one. Patrick Spangler into 2nd. Wow, talk about coming from almost dead last for Patrick Spangler. It has now come away 2nd place. Brandon Templeton wins it, and Kurt Schatzer, our points leader, sits 3rd. I told you Mr. Consistency was going to make a top 5. There's Randy Shreves. Terry Landis ended up 5th. Nathan Aldrich up 3 positions, sitting 6th. And that was a wild wreck there right at the end. Let's take a look back at that wreck and see what happened here. Isaac Salas is into the wall. You see him try to pull off. Yeah, and with these shovel-nosed cars, that's what's going to happen. I think what gets me is Patrick Spangler rotates up and Jeff Barker just absolutely rear-ends him here. Let's see if we can take another piece at this. Jeff Barker. Take a look from the inside of his cockpit. Yeah, just when he thought he had it clear. And then just nothing left. Wow. Bummer. All right, well, let's go ahead and chase down some of our drivers out there, and let's have a talk with them. All right, welcome back, everybody. Appreciate you guys waiting on us here. I've got Kurt Schatzer in the booth with me here, riding in that 218 car. Man, what a wild race it was tonight. Starting back from 6th, coming to a podium position. How did Eldora feel out there?
Ooh, it was a rough one there. It was a really top dominant track. So if you got off that top groove, they were coming like a freight train. So I mean, it was a couple close calls trying to get it back in line. Yeah, it got a little rough there a couple times.
All right, well, let's start at the beginning of the race. What was going on with you and Bob DeGood out there? The two y'all were about dooring each other for about 5 to 8 laps. What in the world was going on?
Oh, Bob's a good dude. I was just trying to find a way around him. It seemed like he was getting loose right when I would try to get underneath him coming out of the corner. So once we made a little bit of contact, it was just kind of bumper cars from there. I did throw one Hail Mary on him to try to get by before, you know, anything happened there. And I, point leader that I'm trying to make my way up to their front before something happens and I get back to the back.
All right, well, you did suffer a good bit of damage most of this race here. You were at least able to come out of that final wreck there on the white flag. How nervous were you almost facing the rest of the field and still able to come out with a podium position?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a wrap right there. Isaac and Brandon, they were the class of the field. They were running away from me. Isaac got into the wall a few times, allowed me to catch up on him. I tried getting underneath him a little bit, but there really wasn't nothing there. And then that last time when he got into the wall, he just never seemed to get his speed back, and we just kind of got into the back of him. I think Patrick was coming, Spangler was coming from behind and kind of pushed me in a little bit. I feel horrible for Isaac and having that happen.
Yeah, he clipped the wall a couple of times, but the shovel nose on these cars definitely got a couple of you guys turned around there. Spangler ended up finishing the deal and getting you guys all mixed up. But this, unfortunately, you do stay in the lead. Unfortunately, Patrick Spangler is going to close the gap here a little bit because he got one more place on you. But hopefully we'll see what you have because the end of the season's coming really soon here, buddy.
Yep, that's just around the corner. I think next week we'll be wrapping it up. So I think I'm sitting pretty right now, but we'll have to see.
I was going to say returning champ. I think Aiden Young took it away from you last season, and now you'll be back in the driver's seat. Congratulations on that kind of early one, because I'm going to say I think it would have to be a field of 24, and you placed dead last to kind of be taken out of this one. Give me your shout-outs here.
Yeah, I got to thank Dirt Track Bank. They do a lot to help racers all around the country. Got Your Six Racing Network with Joe Halter over there. I think this is going to be the last season for Got Your Six Racing Network over there with Friday Night Lights. So I got to give a shout out to them. They did an awesome job over there. And just Hammer Down Racing there, Brandon Templeton. Congrats to him for getting the win. And Brian Dickens, he ain't out here tonight with us. But yeah, Ed, you for doing the broadcast, and Roger for giving us a place to race every week.
All right, Kurt Schatzer, appreciate you joining us here tonight, and I can't wait for next week, man. I'm excited.
Thanks.
All right, by Kurt Schatzer. That moves us to our second place finisher, Patrick Spangler. Man on the move. He was able to get it to started second, actually shuffled way back in the field, but he was able to recover. Patrick Spangler continuing his charge here. Tied for second in points. Now you get a little bit closer here to Kurt Schatzer. Boy, talk to me actually the final 10 laps here after you got wrecked out recovering.
I don't mind Eldora in the pro lates. Usually have trouble in the pro lates, but Eldora is one of the tracks you can run it like a 360 sprint and just up against the wall. Although I kept getting into the wall, a lot of the guys would get sucked in. So as long as I could stay off there and other people weren't running the top, I knew I could come back up to the field. I said, no, I'd be able to get back to second. I didn't I was looking at the back of Schatzer's car and I couldn't even see Isaac was in the wall just because I couldn't see through the car. So just a crappy situation there on the last coming to the last lap, but able to get out here to the second.
Yeah, you guys were going over between 100 and 115 miles an hour out there on the track. It's hard to make that decision coming around, and then boom, it's there. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to go. So you got to do what you got to do. Obviously, making the call for the fast repair coming down pit road and slinging back through the field was the right call here tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was broke, but I mean, there's only like 10 laps left, so I figured I'm not going to use the patch repair later. Might as well use it now and see what I can do. And it paid off there because everybody's right rears and spoilers were up in the air just from banging off a wild side wall. So I figured a fast repair may help.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely couldn't agree with you more because that was definitely an ugly one here tonight. Patrick Spangler, I don't know if you're thinking about Talladega tonight. I know everybody gets kind of antsy about that asphalt. So give me your shout outs and let me get you to thinking.
Just you for the awesome broadcast each week. Roger for on the league. Train Wheels Racing. Dad, Uncle back home watching. Dudak Sim Designs for the paint on the car. And if the caution laps were shorter, I'd like Talladega, but that race the other day at Daytona, like the 40 minutes for 39 laps, it's I don't know. Not my cup of tea there. So I'll stick to the dirt until we get to a short track that I own.
All right, Patrick Spangler. We'll try to do that. I'll see you at Lucas Oil next week.
Yep, sounds good. Good luck in the next race.
Thanks, bud. All right, that'll be Patrick Spangler. That moves us to our race winner. I've talked to this man before. Brandon Templeton got away in this race, and what a wild drive this was here for Brandon Templeton. Fantastic job yet again. Brandon Templeton, you started in third and in the lead. Was Isaac Salas a tough cookie to crack here?
Yeah, he definitely, he had the line and he was pretty fast for most of the race, and he made one big crucial mistake that allowed me to get by him, and then I think he probably got in the wall a little bit there towards the end, as did I, but I was able to recover and get back down off of it. You wanted to be up there, but you didn't want to touch the wall because it would suck you in and slow you down. So key was just to get up there as close as you could without actually touching it.
Yeah, well, talking about touching it, I would say we were looking at how you and Isaac Salas were racing out there. That cushion was about paper thin along that wall. I mean, did you ever get nervous that you may have been skidding across the concrete here tonight?
Oh yeah, there was a couple times there was one time I really had to get off the gas and pull it out of the wall, and thank God no one was. I think I had maybe a second gap and is able to get going again, but very treacherous. It was kind of survival of the fittest. Good race, and head to the next one.
All right. Well, speaking of the next one, Lucas Oil, I've heard a lot of downsides. Everybody says they really don't appreciate that track. It's new, but they say it's garbage. What's your take on it?
I love it. It slicks off, and the top kind of becomes good, but it's dangerous enough. And same with the bottom. The bottom in 1 and 2 at that track is usually really good, but it's dangerous with those tires, and so it adds a lot to the mix. And the lines change as the race goes on, so that always helps the racing.
All right, well, this finally gets you your multiple wins here of the season. I'm excited to see. Hopefully you're able to show up for the next one, man, because it's definitely looking pretty good for you right now. I don't know how points flop after this. I know Jeffrey Kemper kind of had a crummy run tonight as well. This may sling you into a top 5 move here. Fantastic job. Give me your shout-outs.
I got to thank Dirt Track Bank, first of all. Everything Jay's doing, supporting us in iRacing has just been huge and awesome, so thanks to him. Got Your Six Racing Network, Hammer Down Racing, the guys, racing with me, Joe, Kurt, and Brian. A lot of help. We talked during the race, after the race, all throughout the week, helping each other out, so that's been awesome. Extreme Images, Big C's Lawn Care, Maley's Makery, wife and kids for letting me take time to do this, you, for Patrick, and Simtrax Broadcasting for putting this on, and Coast to Coast and all the volunteers. Thanks.
Excellent, man. I like the way you finish that off. That sounds excellent. Brandon Templeton, the 31. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for our interviews here. Definitely, it was a wild one. This was a wild race right to the end. We'll take a peek at some of our results if we can. Kind of poke them up there. Yuck. That is a terrible angle. Let's see if we can find something a little better here. There we go. And then that way you can see your favorite drivers. Unfortunately, only 11 drivers here, so I think with Kurt Schatzer starting to run away with the points, some of these guys get way nervous. But don't go away just yet. We're going to head to commercial here for a moment. And off to the Alabama Mile, where the racing gets absolutely insane, and the the driving is even more insane. So let's get those spotters on and run over the asphalt league, and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Livia Olson. I am an industrial engineering senior and club volleyball member here at Penn State.
And I'm Alex Ryan, a computer science senior and another club volleyball member. And we're excited to announce that we're planning to dance in Thon 2023.
Thon is a 46-hour, no sitting, no sleeping dance marathon aimed towards raising funds to support those affected by childhood cancer. It is the largest student-run philanthropy in the entire world. We'll be dancing in honor of one of our best friends, Jesse King. Jesse is also a part of club volleyball, but a lot of us would consider him family. Immediately, freshman year, Alex and I clicked with Jesse and all the other new members of club volleyball. We went to the dining hall together for a lot of our meals, spent weekends together, and ended up going on vacations together. It really does feel like family to us.
Going into junior year, Jesse was supposed to live with myself and a few of our other friends, but he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in March of 2021. He's been through chemotherapy, it's been a year since he's finished radiation, and we can officially say that he has no active cancer. Currently, he is undergoing physical and cognitive therapies.
Thanks to Thon and Four Diamonds, the King family and many other families have yet to see a bill related to medical expenses, hotels, parking, gas fees, and all other related travel expenses. It just goes to show that every dollar raised truly does go a distance. It allows families to focus on the recovery of their child as opposed to financial stress.
Because of this, we've got to spend a lot more time with Jesse and his family, who are the nicest people in the world. They throw awesome tailgates, and every time we see them, a little bit more of the Jesse that we know and love peeks through.
Until then, we are fully committed to the mission of Thon and Four Diamonds by raising funds to support the Kings and all the other families affected by childhood cancer.
With Thon less than 100 days away, we're asking that you consider donating. Regardless of the amount, it will make an immense impact. To donate to our donor drive, please scan the QR code or click the included link.
If donating isn't in your cards today, please share this video with those around you. Help us get our fundraising past the finish line.
This is a race that families can't afford to lose.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
At Coolray Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, we've proudly been the leader in serving the Southeast since 1966. And nobody is more committed to delivering industry-leading excellence to the Nashville community than we are. We're number one because we've got the best and brightest HVAC technicians, plumbers, and electricians. And you can count on us 24/7, 7 days a week. Go to Coolray.com to learn more.
Oh yeah, welcome back everybody. Exactly where I like to be, on the asphalt. I think I've just about had enough of the dirt and gonna knock that out of my shoes, change over to a different set of comfortable sneakers here, and have a fun time here at the Alabama Mile. 2.5 miles, more than that, I believe 2.66 here at Talladega. We're already taking a look at some of our drivers out here. Some of them, actually, to note, is out there Chris Schaefer sitting behind, trying to see if he can get a little something going here. I know Turn 1 Racing is going to be out here trying their best. Venom Racing as well. They're going to be trying to give a push. Just a lot of drivers out here are going to be tossing a lot of things around, trying to see if they can find a better situation out here on the track. Because if there's one thing that's tough about this track, is finding a groove, finding a group that you can run with, and staying fast. So let's take a look as our qualifying session is starting to happen here in just a moment. Let's take a look at what our what it's looking like tonight. 50 laps, 3 faster pairs, 3 sets of tires at a 50% fuel limit. So they should have to pit about that 20-22 mark. So they may have to pit twice for fuel. But depending on the draft, if you're leading, if you're in front, if you're wrecked, if things are going to be ended up spinning around. But it's a fantastic 95 degrees out on the track, and I am super happy about that part, because that means there's no reason these tires shouldn't stick, so no sliding for any of these drivers out here, and that should be really excellent for the drive here tonight. Taking a look at Chris Schaefer out here. Isaac Salas, we saw he didn't have such a good run there in the pro lates. We'll see how he does. He's out on the track as well, and just a lot of drivers out here. I would say I think I've got over 30 drivers. Once you come to Talladega, this track is a magnet. Everybody definitely attracts to it, and gets out here on the track and tries to put down their best times. The key is teamwork. You can't be a single car and come out here and win it. It goes with it being more restrictor plate. This is more packed driving. So you may see it break off with the front 10 and maybe a set of 15 and then the last set of, 6 or 7 or so. But you're going to see normally large clumps. It's not, like the 1.5 mile cookie cutters. We'll get a guy to drive away and they'll lead, by 2.5 seconds. That's not a possibility here for that to happen. Matthew Robinson is going to be definitely trying with a couple of other drivers out there and see what he can do. I know Bandy Bill out here with Kyle Moonen. They're going to be trying something. Isaac Salas and Gary Sigelco out there in the 25 Chevrolet. They're going to be trying. So it's so many race teams right now between the Salty Dogs, the Gambler Motorsports team, Venom Racing, Sim Racing Concepts. We've got Spartan Racing out here. I've got Turn 1 Racing. This should be an awesome run here tonight, and I'm really excited to see what everybody can put down. Right now, a couple of drivers getting ready to start crossing the line here, and we're going to finally start getting some times out there. Let's see what we get here. Isaac Salas right now sitting on top of the chart. Moonen sitting third. Salas' time still holds. Excellent job by him for the rest of this run here. Let's see if we can get a little more. There's Isaac. And if you guys remember a little bit about last week, Isaac Salas was actually leading good part of the race there at Daytona, and then unfortunately it was a last lap spin out. Only penalties tonight are for Steven Goldner, Roland Olson, and Brad Wetzel. These 3 guys actually have penalties bleeding over from the Xfinity series that they ran on Thursday, and it will take effect this race. So Brad Wetzel will be an EOL tonight. Steven Goldner, I believe he is actually leaving pits after lap 1, so he'll actually start a lap down. But we've seen Stephen Goldner actually come back from 2 laps down all the way from the back and win it. So, you know, due just to the amount of cautions. If these guys can keep it super clean here tonight, it should be awesome. And I do not see Mr. Roland Olson, so it will carry over back to Thursday for him. He will not be able to serve it here tonight. Right now, I've got 18 drivers at least with some time out there on the track. Gary Foote still out there. A couple of drivers trying to play some more times out here, and I think everybody else is kind of chickened out here a little bit. Here we go. Robert Lynch and Greg Parmalee at least out here. Robert Lynch trying to see if he can nail down a time for Turn 1 racing. Out there in the chat, Michael Bennett saying, let's go Robinson. I know Michael Robinson has a race at Phoenix tomorrow, so he's out here with the C2C League, giving it his best shot. See how he does here. See how he does, because right now Matthew Robinson is sitting third. They've only got a couple races here left in the season. I believe next week is Las Vegas. Some of these guys are hanging their heads wishing this would be the last one, but yeah, I wouldn't want a toss-up race. Definitely one where anyone can win. That is not where I would want to be ending the season. So, talking about our top 5 drivers. Let's talk about them. Sean Grace ended up squeaking out that win last week. It was pretty crazy. Sean Grace now has 3 wins on the season. Is leading with 500 points. Chris Schaefer lost the lead, dropped down to second, 476, sitting second, and Matthew Robinson is in that third position, so he's got a lot of work to do to get up there. Brad Wetzel, like I said, is sitting fourth with an EOL, and Kyle Moonen for Vanderbilt Racing is sitting fifth in the points. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and get right to where we start here. Everybody's starting to grid up there. A little slow, and I guarantee you RC tonight, Dustin Renstedt and Brandon Ishkanyon are trying to tell these guys, patience. You've got to have patience at this track. I do not want to see 50 cautions here tonight. We went cautionless at Nashville. We can do it here. There's no reason why we can't. Let's take a look at our starting grid with Turn 1 Racing leading the charge here with Isaac Salas, much like last week, front row spot. Let's see how he does. I don't think he's got Dan McLaren behind him this time, so let's see how he does. Doyle Lawrence with our Raven Graphics sitting third, and Jeff Flora will be fourth. Connor Ross fifth, Chris Schaefer sixth, and with Inferno Motorsports looking pretty good for him in that 23 machine sitting on the outside of the third row. Vanderbilt Racing pretty proud of Kyle Moonen getting here in the top 10 with a 7th place start next to Luis Meglin 8th. John Rayner will be 9th for the Salty Dogs, and Brennan Lacey, another Vanderbilt guy out there in 10th. Butch Baker 11th. Mike Cranmer will be starting 12th. Haven't seen Mike Cranmer out here in a good while. Good time to have him back. Andrew Smith will be starting 13th. Joe Backus 14th. Roger Craig in the 747 Salty Dog Racing Team truck. Let's see how he does 15th. On the outside of that row will be Donovan Ross. Gary Foote will be 17th. And Gary Sickleco, good to see him there. 18th top 20 start with Steven Bixler behind him. And Greg Parmalee in the back of row number 10. Coming in row number 11 will be Dustin Renstedt and Brad Wetzel. Sean Grace in the 23rd position, and Robert Lynch will be 24th. Rotating for a little bit farther back, Chad Cote will be 25th. Stephen Goldner in the 26th position. Like I said, EOL for him, and Randy Shreves. I think he should be getting behind the wheel. We'll cross our fingers, and hopefully he'll get his get out there on the track. And we'll see how well these boys can get around here. This is a tough track. This is a tough track for anybody, but we'll see how they do out there. Definitely plenty of area for them to run. You know, all these horses with no room to gallop. But there is plenty of room. They can take it successfully 3 wide. Some tracks you don't have that option. Got a couple drivers showing Roger Craig down on the inside of the lane here. I don't know if he's had the problem. There we go. Stephen Goldner, he will be sitting in pit. Like I said, in the pit box. Once they cross for lap 1, he goes. So he will actually be out of the draft and way, way off pace. But if there's a early caution, he'll be right back in the mix. Because he will be the first one to get the lucky dog, and around he will go. Good stack of drivers right here. I would say I expect to see Matthew Robinson up here. He's a hell of a driver. He's able to get the right angle here. He's able to get friends he can work around. But he's got a lot of guys looking to really prove something here tonight. They're going to be pushing their way, looking for their first win. Matthew Robinson, at least being one of them, he's looking for that first win. But Kyle Moonen, if I remember right, last time I saw Kyle Moonen here in the front, nothing against Kyle Moonen, but it results in a couple of cautions. But he charges to the front very quick. He is not big on playing the waiting game. So we'll see how Kyle Moonen does in the 24 Chevrolet back here. Looks like he's running the Budweiser Vanderbilt truck. And oh man, 50 laps on this one. Should be a solid run up here. Pace truck will duck on off here. They'll have to wait a good bit and wait for Barney's cue. First green flag will be on the flag man. And Matthew Robinson and Isaac Souse are going to take us away to the start of Talladega. 50 laps. Let's go. Too much moving around here yet. I would say that actually Steven Goldner, look at these guys, getting ready to get lined up, getting ready to go. Huh. I figured after lap 1 they got to move, but that's okay. Maybe Chad Cote's down there to help him. Chris Schaefer wiggling around just a little bit here in 6th. Trying to see if he can find a different lane. Now, Luis Meglin, I always say that you got a friend indeed. It would be Luis Meglin in the 50 Toyota. He definitely holds his line, knows where to be, and is able to make fast lines. You see him sitting back. What he's actually doing is he is using that aerodynamic bubble, kind of hitting right in that area. When he wants to go, he'll hammer on the gas and start slinging around when these guys decide to start going 3 wide. Hopefully they do not this early in the race because they are side by side and already wiggling just a little bit out there. Let's take a look around the backside of the couple of these drivers out here and see how it looks. Inside line still seems to be the strongest area out here. Right now, Isaac Souse, I believe, is over 200 miles an hour. A quick blink there, 200 miles an hour. Jeff Flaro was 200 miles an hour, so good job holding on to it here. Definitely, these trucks are going faster. I wouldn't say faster than design, but they're definitely putting some speed out here on the track. Stella, what do you think about this here so far? Not too bad by these guys out here at the Coast to Coast Racing League. Definitely his asphalt season is going to come to an end, unfortunately, but we should be drawing it up here for the next season come spring. And Isaac Souse here on the outside. Jeff Flaro kind of leaning off just a little bit. And you just kind of see the discipline that these guys have. After what we saw Dan McLaren push these cars around out there, or push that truck around for in the front at Daytona, you know what they can do. You know, you see, these guys are checking up. They're pulling back on the gas here a good bit to allow the car to rotate, to allow the truck to drive, to allow the racing. These guys can hold it to the floor and really start pile driving. But you kind of want to hang back a little bit and allow that fuel savings and actually let it pay off later on in the race. That yellow line from Matthew Robinson there. Ooh, Jeff Flaro. Thinking about it there. Doyle Lowrance there with Raven Graphics, trying to see if he can keep the side of his truck together. Not looking too sharp there. Out there in the Coast to Coast Racing Network rooting on Isaac Salas. Isaac Salas just took on the lead here, but it won't be for long. Interesting to see actually Connor Ross in the 35 falling off a good bit here with Gambler Motorsports. He's going to have to close that gap a little bit here. Whoa, man, and when he does, I think that may have been Kyle Moonen. No, Brennan Lacey that got crazy loose here between turn 1 and 2 at 414. Got to be careful. 3 wide. Here's the first one, and yep, there's the caution. Oh boy, here we go. And Brennan Lacey's got the tow. There's Devo. He got caught up in that. Yeah, I kind of figured something might have happened on that one because once we go 3 wide, guys start stacking up, mashing each other to pieces, and that's what's going to happen. Sean Grace has moved up 12 positions into 11th. I would not expect anybody to pit, but let's go ahead and head to let me drum up this caution and figure out what happened here. Taking a look at it here. It already starts actually a couple turns back. This is where Chris Schaefer comes out. Remember, we saw the 414 get a little loose right here. The 200 trying to shoot the gap. Chris Schaefer wants to stay high and not take this opportunity, not take that opportunity. You don't want any of it. Isaac Salas rotates to the top to give Schaefer a little block. This being Talladega, there's always chances to move. Isaac Salas might not want to have wanted to have blocked there. Too early, you know what I mean? It's too early in the race to be causing things like that. Let's take a look back at it from this angle. Brendan Lacey caught up. Sigelco, he almost makes it. Isaac Salas still around. Devo still caught in it here. I think that's what gets me is as they continue, the wrecks are still happening. Bixler's engine's blown. Yep, that's a shame. Bunch of wrecked up race cars out there now. A couple of guys right now showing Isaac Salas in 11th. Definitely expect to probably see him down pit road. Right now, everybody came down pit road except Lawrence and Greg Parmalee. Still down pit. A bunch of cars got wrecked up on that one. It's a real bummer. Jeff Flaro, he was the one who ended up getting caught up in the first part of that wreck, now sitting 23rd. I don't know if he's having a tow. But he is down and broken right now. Come on. Couple other drivers who were in it. Stephen Bixler's down to 20th. Isaac Salas is down to 18th. Luis Meglin is down to 16th now. Yeah, definitely interesting to see here. How that happened, what they decided to do, and why they kind of chose that route here. Greg Parmalee on his way in. That leaves Doyle Lowrance, the only one who did not come down pit. I'm thinking Doyle may be thinking it's the safer to be up here. And know your competition. and expect cautions later on in the race when these guys start running out of fast repairs. And take fuel then. Tires is going to be a non-issue here at the track. Chris Schaefer just barely missed that. Right now, turn 1 racing would be Matthew Robinson, Chris Schaefer, and Robert Lynch. Lynch is in 14th position now. These guys do have 3 fast repairs on the night, so I would say they get at least 3 mulligans here. They'll be able to try again. Only a couple laps into this one, 8. After that, I think after a few times they're going to end up sending these guys single file, but hopefully we don't have to do that because it makes for some good racing side by side. It definitely can push guys moving around. I would say trying to find teams, going 3 wide, sending it on around, you know, handling it okay. I think what ended up happening is I don't think Jeff Flaro has been here too many times, and that ended up becoming a problem as well. Checking the points here, I'm not seeing Mr. Flaro. Yeah, new talking with Isaac Salas yesterday. He actually was pretty excited about Talladega here. He was going to have another shot to try to redeem himself from Daytona, and it almost looked like much of the same from last time. So we'll see what ends up happening here. When these guys get to super speedways, I think the mindset needs to be it's okay to get past. You can come back. It's not like a short track. Short tracks, you start running out of time pretty quick. These guys, you know, when they're getting around the track, you know, between that 52-second mark. You know, about every minute you have 1 lap, you have time. But if we're doing 2-minute laps here under caution, it's going to take even longer. Let's go ahead and get this done. Doyle Lowrance, Matthew Robinson will start on the outside. Starting to see that we get about probably that 11 to 14 lap mark. The track will start to heat up. Outside line will actually be the favorable spot. But Brad Wetzel's penalty obviously not taking any effect on him. 8th place for him right now. Up 14 positions. Right now, so far, so good for Brad Wetzel. Let's see how he does. I believe that is actually Doyle Lawrence's paint on the side of that truck. So Brad Wetzel sitting 8th. Let's rotate up front where Andrew Smith has moved up 8 positions, now 7th. You see Andrew Smith out here in that 79 Toyota, following behind the 35 of Connor Ross. A couple of drivers actually getting real loopy back here. I think something may have happened actually to Steven Bixler. Bixler coming down pits. Having to offset the pit. I would probably think this is a jump on the restart here. So we'll see if that ends up happening. That is the cause. Around the track here. It looks like they were able to make that break there in front of Doyle. Stop and go fuel stops for Robinson and Connor Ross. Out there with only about 6.5 second pit stall time. Work on the outside cut in front of Doyle. Doyle's got the run. Outside line from Doyle, and he's going to lead that lap. Kyle Moonen will be the one to help him with that part. Kyle Moonen following behind, seeing if he can give the number 3 a push. Doyle Lowrance out here. Ooh, yeah, there we go. 3 wide. Looks like Isaac Salas is caught in the center of it. Hopefully not again. Trying to make the moves around Steven Goldner. Like I said earlier, with even Steven Goldner, doesn't matter where he starts, he'll give his way back to the front. So right now, Goldner and Flaro outside line, and it's working Goldner in the wall. No. So now Flaro has lost all his push help. as they try to get up to the front. Right now, Floro and Steven Bixler are down laps. I think what they were trying to do is scramble to get to the front, get their lap back. So if the caution comes out, they should get pushed around, even without requiring the lucky dog. That moves them on back, already tumbling around in the back of the field here. Gary, a foot. Back here with the 94, and I think that's Luis Megler back here as well. A lot of guys, I think, slack off like this. I'm not saying sandbagging, but they kind of slack off expecting another caution, think something else is going to happen. Yeah, so far staying in the lead, Matthew Robinson regains it back to Doyle Lowrance. Lawrence down to 5th. Staying in the front for some of the drivers. Connor Ross staying behind him. John Rayner. High spot for him. He's up 5 positions, almost sitting 4th. Who's in front of him is Chris Schaefer on the outside line. So at least 2 of the guys with Turn 1 Racing here. All Turn 1 Racing is in the top 10. Robert Lynch kind of seesawing back and forth between 11th and 10th. But he's 3 wide right now. Jeff Floro once again in the center. Yeah, watch here. Something tells me Steven Goldner is going to try to help Floro get back to the front again. Something rings a bell. Let's see if we can get a topside look at Steven Goldner and Floro. Yep, there it is. 70 and Mike Cranmer. Wow. What? I guess Mike wanted to lead the charge. Not so sure about that, Mark. Oh, Connor Ross. Whoa, Connor Ross bumped out. Holy cow. Let's roll that back. What caused them to move out? John Rayner's here. Oh, he blinked. Oh, he disconnected there for a second. Now Connor Ross down to 17. Wow. Yeah, if Connor Ross is having connection issues, he may be pulling off the track. Let's rotate back up front with Matthew Robinson lost the lead here. Chris Schaefer sitting in front of him, Doyle Lowrance in the front. Let's see what we can get going out there in the chat. Jackson Lomax saying, let's go, boys. Sorry you couldn't make it out here tonight, but hopefully we'll see you in the later days coming up there, Mr. Lomax. Let's go ahead and keep an out on the track. Watch John Rayner here. John Rayner's got to be getting pretty nervous. 414 is behind him, and I know Brendan Lacey's wanting to move. Per the laps down cars, Brendan Lacey would be the first one to get the lucky dog around. He's sitting 20th right now, but if he was on the lead lap, he'd be 6th. Staying out there on the track, and kind of look at how Matthew Robinson's kind of getting dangerously close here. Doyle Lowrance, and he's sliding around a bunch. Kind of like the way John Rayner's slacking off just a little bit, trying to give these 2 guys room. Oh, Robinson second peek to the outside, but decides not to. What Robinson's got to be careful of is when you're driving like that on the outside in a super speedway. If he were to slide up in front of Chris Schaefer, it's going to leave that vacuum behind Doyle Lowrance and John Rayner. John Rayner can pick up the speed fast, but Doyle would end up losing the downforce on the back of his truck, causing him to slow down. Now, it could allow John Rayner to give Doyle a push here. Lowrance in the number 3, a push, and actually get that inside line moving faster again if it starts to stall out. But it could also, with Robinson moving to the top in front of Schaefer, actually slow that outside line down. So Robinson's really got to weigh his options here, what he wants to do. But remember we talked earlier about Lowrance not pitting. He's now out of fuel. On the way in, he goes 16. And we're under caution. I think Mike Kramer in the number 70 is involved in this. See a lot of smoke right now. Doyle's got to be kicking himself, but at least he'll be back. He'll stay on the lead lap just in the back. Some of these guys may be coming down pit again. Like I said, tires might not be an option, you know, not have to be worried about. I would question if it would assist in maneuverability later on here in the race. If there's a need for a green flag pit stop, absolutely not. I would not take tires. We'll see where this all ends up. Brennan Lacey should be getting the lucky dog around in the 414. When it goes 1 to go, he'll have to send. He should be sent on around. I'm sure everybody is considering pitting. Last pit stops were on lap 6. So if you're seeing Doyle out there leading lap 6, they are making about that 16-lap mark. But he was out in the lead for a good bit. If they don't pit now, lap 23 to 26 is when they're going to have to pit, which is kind of a waste. So they may want to come down, pit now, top off on fuel. And it might be an idea to take a set of right-side tires. If it were me, I would probably gamble that, at least try to tighten up the race car if you got a loose one. But let's go ahead and head to the caution here and figure out what happened. Should be a nice quick one here as these guys are coming down pit. Let's take a look at it. Mike Kramer, looks like Gary Sigelko gets on the outside. Yeah, it looks like Mike Kramer drifts up again and catches somebody. Yeah, Steven Bixler gets caught. Dang. Back out onto the track. Got a couple of drivers who are still in front. Joe Backus has not come down pit in the 46 Chevrolet. Matthew Robinson sitting second. He might be second. I'm not unsure. I figured Doyle would have been second since he pit earlier. Unless Doyle came back down, which he did not. He came down on lap 16. He had an 11-second pit stall time. Matthew Robinson had a 7, and Kyle Moonen had a 6.85. Taking a little bit of a look at the pit stop strategies out there. We'll see how that fares for some of those drivers out there, at least in the top 10. Yeah, I can't say anything on Gary Sigelko there. It didn't look like any issue on him at all. Looks like he may have fixed that damage when he came down pit road. To go ahead and get the right side of that truck fixed, Mike Kramer kind of mashed him into the wall. Driver who is still down pit road is Steven Goldner. Down pit for about 3 minutes now. Drivers laps down. Greg Parmalee, Steven Bixler, Jeff Laro, Goldner, Chad Cote. We don't believe he ended up taking the wheel. Randy Shreves and Dustin Renstedel is our RC tonight. Getting stacked up double wide here. Interesting that Joe Backus not taking pit here. Unless he's starting to think cautions breed cautions here. Can't blame him. But we'll see. We had a good turnout on that one. So teaming up right now, I know Matthew Robinson and Chris Schaefer need a really good run here tonight. Sean Grace sitting 13th, who's currently in the lead via points-wise. So Sean Grace has got to have at least a top 5 finish here before Matthew Robinson or Chris Schaefer take it back over. Both those boys are sitting up there. Should be in 2nd place and should be in 4th. Right now, Robinson up in front. He's got to be careful not to get black flagged here. And that's the tough part about these restart zones, especially at Talladega, as the pace truck dips on off. And then it takes a good while, hit that blue Geico restart zone, and then you have to allow Joe Backus to get on the gas first. Kyle Moonan's fumbled a couple of times this year with that restart on the outside line. Fortunately, he'll be able to follow along Joe Backus here. And the inside line will be able to actually get a jump start. So let's see how Joe does here. He's got a foot out front. And Robinson's got to be careful. We'll see if that was A-okay. I didn't see the 46 get going until the 15 started picking up speed. Unless, excuse me, Matthew Robinson ended up starting in maybe 2nd gear there and was able to launch a little faster. As long as he doesn't pass it before the line as well. It's just, man, you want to talk about technicality. Just restarts is an art form. Talking about moving up here, Robert Lynch is up 17 positions, now sitting 7th. Roger Craig has moved up 6th. 7 now sitting 8th. So the charge continues for some of these guys. Looks like Mike Cranmer might be in another one back here. No caution. Doesn't look like they're going to call it. Look like Mike Kramer might be hammered up here pretty bad. Let's take a look at it real quick. Oh, contact. That might be Floro. Here's Steven Bixler. What in the world is going on in the back of the field here? Yeah, Steven Goldner looks like he's trying to shoot the gap. Floro gets caught by Ross by taking it 3 wide yet again. Connor Ross then gets turned by Jeff. Yeah, not looking good. So the night, the woes continue for Connor Ross and Mike Cranmer. Let's rotate back to the guys who are in the lead here. Getting up front where we're watching John Rayner on the outside of a 3 wide condition there. He's able to squeak out and try to calm that situation down here a little bit. Matthew Robinson has the lead, but not for long as Schaefer's starting to get a good run there with Doyle Lowrance on the outside. There's Schaefer into the lead now. Does he bail out of the outside line? I would probably say not, but seeing that Chris Schaefer's teamed up with Turn 1 Racing tonight, he may try to go down there and help Matthew Robinson get these guys pushed to the front. Right now, Schaefer needs a win here tonight to regain the lead. But he's not even halfway through this race, so it's looking ugly already. Starting this race, Floro should be there on the inside line, ducking out of the way. Yeah, looks like Devo. We saw Devo actually up on the outside. Looks like he's trying to get some fresh air to the nose of that truck. Brendan Lacey closing the gap behind him. When that move is made, Devo trying to see if he can hint to Brendan Lacey. Wants to take it 3 wide here. He thinks Lynch is kind of bleeding off his speed. Lynch rotates to the outside. They're thinking about an outside line here. Here it comes. Let's stay up here with Robert Lynch and see what he decides to do. Devo still hanging outside. Brendan Lacey just kind of following along here. Got to make that turn exit, and they do. Here, do they have anything? Devo might be starting to get a run here. Outside. Now Robert Lynch is going to be in trouble. I guarantee he's puckered now. Brendan Lacey snugs down on the 121. Looks like Robert Lynch does have some damage to the back of that spoiler. Hopefully he doesn't loosen up here. Zoom out just a hair as you see the 46 of Joe Backus a little loose. Remember, Backus hasn't pit since lap 6. He may be running out of fuel here pretty soon. Definitely don't want to be on the inside of a 3-wide condition and run out of fuel. I think Lynch will send him to the moon if that happens. Outside line consisting of Donovan Ross, Brennan Lacey, Isaac Salas. Great racing here so far, and this is exactly what I was talking about. It is completely capable of a 3-wide, but what does everybody do on that turn exit? Holding that line, looking good here so far, and that's exactly what you want to see out of these drivers. It is perfectly capable, but oh man. Doyle seems to loosen up here as we move to our Michelin chopper view, makes contact with Matthew Robinson. Robinson able to squeak away Kyle Moonen, and now the inside line breaks away. 3 wide going to end here. Donovan Ross has to sneak down, or otherwise the outside line is about to start marching back big time. A little too late. Devo now down to 6th. Kyle Moonen rotated up top, and that may cost him. Yeah, you want to talk about guys who are in the fast lane. Bottom line right now, Schaefer, Robinson, Lowrance. This seems to be the place to be. Devo gets bumped. Out he goes. Kyle Moonen in the front. Now he's going to get caught up with his Vanderbilt buddy of Brennan Lacey. And here they go, 1 and 2. But they are right now sitting 5th and 6th. Staying topside. Where does Robert Lynch with Turn 1 Racing hanging out tonight? He's right now sitting in 8th. Trying to take another angle at this where they're going to end up being inside line. You see they're getting a little loopy here. Got to be careful. Joe Backus. Pit road. That caution he was hoping for didn't pay off here unless it happens right now. Let's get back up to the front where Chris Schaefer is now watching the Vanderbilt guys take the lead. Kyle Moon and Brendan Lacey in the front. Isaac Salas trying to find his place in this pecking order here as he tucks in behind Robert Lynch once again of the 121. This is looking pretty good here, seeing what gaggle of cars we have here. I've got Turn 1 Racing on the inside line. I've got Vanderbilt sitting on the outside line, and it looks like Venom Racing trying to get involved with it as well, with Gary Sigelco breaking into the top 10, and I've got Isaac Salas sitting 6th. But we've got, but keep in mind, we've also got John Rayner. I've got Roger Craig sitting 8th and 10th, so I've even got the Salty Dogs up here. So that's one thing here about Talladega. There's always opportunities here. In the green flag pit stop, if they keep racing well like this, they may have to do one. Isaac Salas was posting to me yesterday about some green flag stop ability, so we'll see how well he does. I think a lot of people, I agree with them, kind of go into pit slow, but you got to be careful. Get that 65 mark, it's going to be in trouble. But speaking of trouble, Matthew Robinson looks like he may have hooked the edge of Chris Schaefer here. Schaefer, knowing from his dirt experience, trying to drift that turn. Get him into the draft real quick. So from the lead to 12th in a matter of a couple of turns. Wow! Chris Schaefer now just in front of Sean Grace, who just blinked back into our screen here. There's only one place over our leader. Let's get back up front to the leaders that have slid down in front of Matthew Robinson. Robinson waiting his time, though. I don't blame him. Getting down in front of his Turn 1 Racing buddy of Robert Lynch here. And now let's see. Vanderbilt against Turn 1 Racing. Yeah, you definitely already see a good bit of damage on the right side of Matthew Robinson's Ford. That may have been from the contact from Doyle. Doyle looks like he's a little scuffed up there, so that may be damage one and the same. One or two cars can push here, but they're going to need Devo to make a push. Devo ducks on out, tucks in behind Roger Craig here, but now guys coming off pit road and into lap traffic. The number 70, no! Caution number 3, right around the Mike Cranmer area again. Third caution of the night. We'll let me see if we can drum up this caution and figure out what happened. right, let's take a look at it. Topside, where the rest of the field starts catching up with the number 70 machine. You see how everybody's trying to squeak around him here, but here's where the problem lies. He comes off the track and then rotates back up. Catches Roger Craig in the side. Hooks Robert Lynch. Roger Craig's facing the rest of the field. 70 survives here. We'll stay with Robert Lynch as the wrecking continues. Schaefer on the bottom trying to keep his race alive. Behind Sigelco, still charging. Man. Yeah, it looks like Steven Bixler's caught up in that one. Where's Chris Schaefer in all of this? Chris Schaefer is able to escape. So definitely a miscommunication here has caused all this trouble yet again. Third caution out tonight. Pit road for all these guys. Back under caution now. What happens? Do we take tires? I know right now, once again, Matthew Robinson still has a lot of damage to the right side of his vehicle here. And it's interesting to see him not fixing that truck. I wonder if he thinks he's going to be in another pileup here with about 19 to go when we get back underway. Fortunately, another mulligan here for Mr. Lynch. He'll be able to fix his vehicle back together. I believe Roger Craig, he had to fix his. Oh, yeah. But seeing Roger Craig, he had an 8-second pit stop. Take a look at those pit stop times out there. Alrighty, out here in front, I believe Mike Kramer may get the wave around here as he stayed out. Last week's winner of Sean Grace still is sitting in the lead. That'll make it interesting here, especially for Chris Schaefer's campaign to try to come back. Sean Grace did pit back on lap 17. The same with Gary Afoot, who's sitting right now 1 and 4. Everybody else has come down on 29. Some guys have taken tires. There's Sean Grace. He's coming down now, trying to stretch it one more lap. Can't blame him. Matthew Robinson, 15-second pit stall time. Lowrance, 10-second pit stall time. Another driver, Andrew Smith, 11th place, 16-second pit stall time. Sigelco, Lynch, and I believe Devo all got tires. Everybody else is a fuel and go. Now we'll see if this pays off. Now I would say if they picked up 7, maybe 8% on the tires, they are definitely going to be able to handle a lot better than some of these guys getting loose in the draft. So we'll see how this plays out. Vanderbilt front row. Brendan Lacey and Kyle Moonen. Gary Foote sitting third. John Rayner is fourth. Doyle Lowrance will be fifth. Matthew Robinson sixth. Isaac Salas and Chris Schaefer should be seventh and eighth. Brad Wetzel will be ninth. And Andrew Smith, outside line in the 79. All our replays tonight are brought to you by Malcolm's Mills Mill Riding Replays. We'll heading to our next Mission 22 restart. All right, I see a couple of you guys out there. I see the eyeballs out there, but I'm not seeing the chat roll. Guys, tell me what you're thinking of this so far. I mean, we've only got 50 laps. We are up to 20. 20 to go. Tell me what you're thinking so far. But it's not too bad right now. Now again, the slew of cautions here. But let's see if we can get this back under green. Kyle Moonen leading this one. There he goes. 24 Chevrolet out in front. Andy Bilt going to get right behind him. Brendan Lacey. John Rayner going to follow along with that. Yeah, talk about Kyle Moonen out there getting a huge jump. That'll last for a little while here. John Rayner follows behind Brendan Lacey. He's going to run up on him with a ton of speed. That speed may cause to be a problem. What does Brendan Lacey do? Does he floss around him or does he push? Isaac Salas got to be super careful here. Isaac Salas did not take tires. Not jerking around like that, but Isaac Salas now getting behind Matthew Robinson and Chris Schaefer. There's that aerodynamic bubble, so Salas about to come up with a bunch of speed here. Got to be careful. 79 Andrew Smith on the way outside, willing to take it 3 wide right now. Andrew Smith, one of the guys that took tires here, and he's definitely feeling confident. Outside line for him, what does he do? Chris Schaefer makes a, don't know if he blocked here, but he's making a move. Let's get Topside here to 3 wide. Oh, he's into the wall. Devo, no, don't do that. Rotating up front, and it looks like Andrew Smith is taking himself out of that 3 wide condition to the back. I bet you Schaefer wish he hadn't have gone to the top. Schaefer now has fallen down to 8th. He is still in front of Sean Grace. Sean Grace back down pit road again. He may be doing a drive-through here. So Sean Grace will most likely be a lap, if not 2 down. Rotating back up front where it looks like Matthew Robinson has regained the lead back in front of Kyle Moonen, and Salas, just like Daytona, getting that nose right out front. He has a chance, but Devo on the outside. Isaac Salas now in the middle. Salas is best to let the 5 go around, but he's going to challenge him. Isaac Salas getting loose. Schaefer's got to stay calm here. Look on the outside line. Stephen Goldner laps down, sending it 3 wide here, and we're going to be in some trouble here. 4 wide heading down the backstretch. Here it comes. Right now, I guarantee I would not want to be somewhere in the middle. Matthew Robinson in trouble. Watching it all unfold in front of him. Devo in the middle. Now Kyle Moonen up toward the top. Bandy Bilt right on the outside. 24, the 414, and the 30. Salty Dog John Rader in the 302s leading this one with the help of Doyle Lawrence and Gary Segokow with Venom Racing 1, 2, and 3. Awesome job here so far. Matthew Robinson may have taken a wild challenge here. He slides, he shoots the gap and makes it. The 46 of Joe Backus was not given any room, and Segokow gets turned. What happened there? I didn't even see Segokow hit anything. And they're still wrecking. Guys got to hit the brakes. Look out. Matthew Robinson's around. Joe Backus is around. Ooh, well, Jeremy Tate, yeah, John Rayner's looking good. It shows him 2nd place right now as he'll be coming to the restart. Guys may want to actually wait to the final lap of this caution, come down and pit, and they would never need to come down again for fuel. They should be able to make it to the end. Let's head to the caution replay and figure out what happened to cause this accident. Let's take another look at it topside here. Yeah, that looked like netcode here. We'll see if Segokow comes down on Matthew Robinson. I was trying to figure out where exactly this ended up with these two here. Yeah, Yeah, Sigleco rotated down just a little too far. And that ended up catching the rest of the field. Try to stay with Devo back here. There's Steven Bixler giving it a jack up there. But I think as this completes, what confuses me after this is the wreck continues, I think, up here in the Matthew Robinson area. Robinson tries to come back up on the track. Looks like where Joe Backus is. Backus sends it back up the track and catches him again. Chris Schaefer, oh my gosh. Trying to figure out where to go. Steven Bixler, please make it. Steven Goldner trying to make it stop. Holy cow. All right, let me see if we can rotate that back here just a little bit. I want to see if we can ride with Steven Goldner during this whole spiel, because he did actually get caught up in a chunk of that earlier in the run. Let's take a look at it. Damage to the right front. Trying to get back under speed, but man, dude. All right, some guys are coming down pit now. Trying to switch it up here a little bit. Looks like just about everybody came down lap 36. John Rayner remains in the lead. Kyle Moonen sitting second. Doyle Loran third. Brennan Lacey fourth. And Isaac South sitting fifth. Chris Schaefer desperately needing to win this time, sitting sixth. He is over top of Sean Grace. And Grace is a lap down. One more caution, and Grace will be back on the lead lap right now. He's sitting 17th. Right now, Chris Schaefer needs a podium here to regain the lead. But it's looking pretty grim right now. Pace truck lights are still on. Should be off this time by. Wonder if anybody else has that thought of coming down and getting that last splash to make it to the end. If it continues on cautions, fuel won't be an issue because they'll be just kind of putting around the track like they are now at a dismal 60 miles an hour. Pace truck lights are off. Steven Goldner gets the wave around. Steven Goldner, I believe, will get back on the lead lap. After being punished for a lap down, he will be back on his lead lap this time around. So 16th place for Goldner. We've seen Goldner actually charge up, working the outside line, sending it to a dangerous 3 wide, but he comes out here with massive damage to the side of his truck. Think of that drone out there. You see how that right front? Not looking too good for him. Right there's the damage. That sounds like as fast as it'll go. 148 miles an hour. So that damage definitely detrimental to Steven Goldner here. He's probably hoping for another caution. If another caution comes out, he'll be able to come down and get a fast repair. And Steven Goldner will be back on the lead lap and ready to rip it here with a good bit of laps to go. Still plenty of opportunity here. We got a bunch of guys out to the garage. Cote Floro, Connor Ross is out, and I think Donovan, so I believe Devo is out. Number 5. I'm Not showing any speed out of Devo. It looks like Gary Foot's trying to squeak out that. It's going to be from the outside looking in. That's going to be a problem. Right now, Gary Foot trying to squeak his way back out of pit. And he is going to be way off pace. Pace truck is coming off. They may catch him. So this could be some trouble for some of the drivers out there. Let's take a look. You see where the 94 is. So he's got to be hammered down right now to try to keep up. Best case scenario, he'll be running 160. These guys will be 40 miles an hour faster. Let's get back under green. As John Rayner's going to get a restart here in the Geico restart zone. Away he goes. Outside line for the Vanderbilt guys, 24 and Brennan Lacey in the 414. Kyle Moon in the front. Let's see what we can get done here. Definitely a big separation here by the top 6, able to make a breakaway. Robert Lynch and Gary Siglico may have got caught a little off guard on that restart. I definitely expect to see a lot of guys shuffling around here. They're going to try to make a point. One of them being Luis Meglin back here. Meglin's been trying to stay out of trouble, but may be caught up in a bunch of garbage. I'm running out of words. Just a bunch of garbage here, and he's just trying to survive this one, sitting 13th, and going to work on his charge back up to the front. Right now, Rayner, Doyle, and Isaac, 1, 2, and 3. Vanderbilt not holding up very strong here on the outside line. Stephen Goldner sitting 15th. He's going to be trying to get back up to the front, but I don't know what happened to Matthew Robinson back here. Matthew Robinson is off the track, down on the bottom. Big time slow up here for Matthew Robinson. He is going to end up down a lap now. Right now, Matthew Robinson has got to get in front of Sean Grace to get the lap back. But yeah, Chris Schaefer here trying to see if he can find his way through, and he ends up flossing around the leaders here. Gets behind Doyle Lowrance, and Lowrance now back into the lead. Kyle Moonen on the outside line. Now he has enough help on the outside line. Siglico merges up. Oof. Gotta be careful here. Siglico now behind Robert Lynch here. Meglin, like I said, he was sitting 13th, now 8th. So in a matter of a lap, Meglin's trying to move his way around, slicing through the field, not too bad. Now into the top 10 for him. Side by side, watch Rayner floating up. Rayner getting loose. Whoa. John Rayner did not get tires last time down pit. And take a look. Isaac Salas trying to hold steady here in the front. Looks like the 79 is behind him. 79 to Andrew Smith. Not looking too bad here. Lowrance, Schaefer, Kyle Moonen, Rayner, Isaac Salas. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Looks like Schaefer. Oh no. Schaefer about to be in the middle. Here comes his turn 1 buddy. Robert Lynch going to try to bail him out. This is going to be 3 wide heading into turn 1, and this is the squeeze. Already making the merge. Now Isaac Salas on the bottom. Leaves Kyle Moonen in the center. That gives a perfect shot for Chris Schaefer to reel him in. Smith gets into Lacey. Smith is backwards. Andrew Smith is backwards on this one. Yeah, that went 4 wide into turn 1. Oh my gosh. All right, 9 laps to go. Some of these guys are going to be able to get back underway. I'm curious. I think this may put Sean Grace back onto the lead lap. Robinson's still going to need another lap to get back on it. All right. Take a look at top side here. We saw how it was going. Right here was the 3 wide. Schaefer trying to use Kyle Moonen to pull him through. Everything's okay with that. Lynch hangs off a good bit. Oh, did you see the net code? What? Right there. They're not even touching. So that slowdown is enough to send Brendan Lacey to the outside. Smith trying to, I don't blame him, trying to straighten his truck up because he's afraid of running into Schaefer again. And Lacey gets into him. Lacey down to the bottom and away Lacey goes. Meglin, once again, watching the wrecks in front of him. He's kind of had enough of that. Boy, look at Sean Grace having to dodge that. Whew. All right. More damage for Andrew Smith. Don't know if he's out of fast repairs yet. We'll see if pit road decides to light up. I would probably say not. No one's going to come down pit road unless they're trying something different. Brendan Lacey's on his way down, definitely from the damage. I would assume Smith should be coming down. Yes, he is. So we'll see if any of these drivers want to kind of explain what's going on up here. That was definitely wild there. Sean Grace, yep, he is the lucky dog around. So Chris Schaefer's little buffer here, that's going to be it. He should be 16th place on the lead lap. Let's see if we can get a hold of Chris. Let's see if we can get a hold of him here. It doesn't look like he's going to pit. Let me see if we can get a hold of Chris Schaefer. Chris Schaefer, you got a copy?
Got a copy, Patrick.
All right, man. Wild race out here tonight. From the outside chopper view, that was some net code there on the outside of you that got Andrew Smith turned around on that turn.
Yeah, that's what Matt said too. Matt said like a little net code. I mean, I was just trying to hold my line. He got out there and got a run. I don't know, man. I hate getting into anybody, to be honest.
Well, I'm not saying it's your fault, but I was going to say the lifeline for you was Kyle Moonen out front. Looked like you were going to be able to reel in because you got caught right in the center, and it looked like you may have started marching back. Fortunately, this is your left lifeline here. What is the outlook heading into the rest of this race?
I'm on the inside. I got Robert behind me. I think I'll be all right. I'm just trying to stay out of trouble and finish this thing off. I'd like to win, but a nice top 5 and staying out of trouble. I led some laps and just stayed in front of Sean. It's down to me and him for the points battle, and I think he's back on the lead lap, so he's going to be able to gain some points now, and I just got to outgain him now.
Yes, he is. Sean Grace is now on the lead lap, sitting 16th. He definitely has an opportunity to get there. Brendan Lacey and Stephen Goldner will be starting 13th and 15th. You expect to see the Vanderbilt guys trying to slide to the outside and make their charge to the front, creating more chaos here in the front.
Yeah, man, they teamed up earlier in the race and made some good shoves and got up there with us. And it was me, Matt, and Doyle's working with us tonight. Not officially, but he's been working with us, and then Robert. So we had a good little battle, man. It's been fun. It's been wild. It's been fun.
All right, man. Well, I always say everybody's willing to work with you until the last 2 laps.
Definitely.
All right, Chris, give me a shout out here, man. Hopefully we'll see you in a podium position.
I want to thank you and, for putting on the broadcast, Roger for the league, and everybody, admins that puts it on. My boys at Turn 1 Motorsports, my boys at Inferno Motorsports, Getting Hooked, my longtime sponsor, AJ Customs, CTXX for the paints that we get. And I think that's about it, man.
All right.
I'm sure I missed some, but
All right. Well, good luck to you. I know. I believe you got Gary Sigelco on the outside of you, and caddy corners John Rayner. So good luck to you out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Chris Schaefer on the radio here. He is in the charge, trying to regain that points lead. Normally, if there's another caution, we'll try to see if we can get a hold of Sean Grace out there, as long as he's not in the caution. I'm sure he'll be a little steamed up from that. He has been battling all night trying to come back to resurrect this race. It's getting harder and harder for him out there. Guys who are out of the race, Donovan Ross, Connor Ross, Jeff Flaro, and Chad Cote are out. Guys who are laps down still out there. Matthew Robinson, Afoot, Bixler, Greg Parmalee are still out there. Well, let's say Mike Cranmer is still on the lead lap, sitting 12th. I expect to see something happen here. Stephen Goldner and Brendan Lacey, something's gonna happen. These two are gonna link up right here, and they're gonna break free. Catch back up with Kyle, and probably use Sean Grace to their advantage here. Get all three of them, and that's gonna be the moves. So we'll see if everybody can hold their line. Try this one more time. As when will be 5 to go when they cross the line. You want to talk about running out of time? We'll have a little over 10 miles to figure this out. All right, Isaac Salas, Kyle Moonen, front row. Doyle Lowrance and John Rayner, 3 and 4. Chris Schaefer and Gary Sigleco sitting 5 and 6. Robert Lynch, Roger Craig, 7 and 8. 9, 10. Luis Megla and Joe Backus. Green flag will be out as soon as Isaac Salas is ready to go, and he is. Away they go. So Isaac Salas with Venom Racing into the lead. Doyle Lowrance trying to follow along here. Let's see what we get. Good separation from the top 4. John Rayner's hanging in there. See if they can get a little something. You see Chris Schaefer make the pass. Little speed here from him, and now he's starting to catch up. Chris Schaefer now up to 5th. Where does he go? Look how they're slicing around here. Boy, yeah, it's not looking good. Right now, Sigleco trying to make a move. Schaefer off the track. Drops off the track to see if he can get some air. Sigleco thinking about 3 wide. He's got room to tuck. But if Brad Wetzel gets this aerodynamic bubble, here it comes. Oh, we can have a caution. Stay on there. Sigleco is blinking out on me there. That's why we ended up with a little bit of a disconnect issue. There's Sigleco across the front of, I believe, that should have been the 46 of Backus. Oh, was Sean Grace involved in that? Sean Grace was involved in that. No. And I think Gary Afoot was in front of Matthew Robinson. During that caution. Right now, that is Sean Grace with a blown engine here on the bottom. Looks like Stephen Goldner is going to try to wedge behind him and help him pick up some speed. Oh yeah, man, you got to love having friends out there on the track. As right now, Sean Grace will be rolling around about 60, if not 55 miles an hour, losing speed. Goldner's trying to push him over to 110 miles an hour, get him in the fast repair, and keep him on the lead lap. As he could break down. Let's go ahead and get to the caution, and let's redo what happened here, because it was definitely a nasty spin. We stayed on it. But Gary and the blinking, I don't know if that's what caused some of it, at least from one angle. From one angle, that's not how it was looking. Not very good. Let's take a look at it top side. Gary looks like he tries to close the gap here. Gets around Backus. Backus pushes him back through, straightens Gary back out, sends him back around. And Grace, boom. Yeah, Grace was full bore on that one. I think he thought he had that one cleared. Pace truck gets out of the way just in time. Gary back up the track. All right, speaking of which, back down pit road here. Live time. Sigleco, Grace, Stephen Goldner, Matthew Robinson are down pit. Robinson may be trying to make a little bit of a change up here. Because like I said, I think Gary Afoot was in front of him. So Gary may end up being on the lead lap. Trying to get a little extra fuel from Matthew Robinson. Definitely a set of tires. So interesting enough, right now, boy, they're going to say that was my fault. As I said, we'll talk to Sean Grace if he's not part of the next caution. Unfortunately, he was. He got caught up in that. So we'll see what this boils down to for some of these other drivers out here. Let's see. Pace car lights are still on. I'm trying to see. Isaac Salas is considering coming down pit road. Let me see if we can grab a hold of Isaac. Isaac, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, I'm gonna ask you before I let you talk. Are you getting ready to head down pit road?
No.
Okay. Well, I just want. Hey, I've seen a couple guys pit. I don't want to mess up your pit stop. So, all right, I'll talk to you. Well, talk to me about the race here. What have we learned, Grasshopper?
To not get so far out on the restart. I think I know that I got a pretty decent jump on there, and I realized it right away, and I kind of came back to make sure that I wasn't gonna, have this massive run coming. I think the big thing here is make sure that they hit you square, and yeah, just when they hit you, make sure you're ready for it.
Yeah. Points leader was Chris Schaefer. He is looking for a solid finish tonight, if not the win. A little bit from last week, we know not to really jerk around in front of these guys. How confident are you feeling in the tires on your truck tonight?
I'm a whole lot better than last week, to be honest with you. I did a lot of practice over the week, running officials and kind of just getting practice with the team. And I think I'm ready. I know that he's probably going to push hard as hell just because we're green white checkered, and I know that he wants to win. So I'm going to have to throw some late race blocks. But I'm going to take it in stride, and I'll see what I can do here. All
right, a couple drivers behind. You do have Kyle Moonen, and it looks like Brennan Lacey, both within the top 10. They could cause some havoc up here in the front. Isaac, man, I hope to see you in a podium position here tonight. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
All right, everybody, Isaac Salas there, and he's leading the race again. He led a little bit at Daytona. He's leading in the front now. I would question what happens now. He's saying not a bad idea to jump early. I know Chris Schaefer wants to get out front. I know he wants to get out there. If Robert Lynch can find a gap behind Luis Meglin, he'll dive in and help the turn one guys and get this inside line rolling almost immediately. But this right now, just so many things in the works right now. This is huge for some of these drivers out here. I believe this being our first green-white checkered. We'll have a few more after this. A couple more, so we'll get a couple more shots if there ends up being any more cautions. Matthew Robinson seeing these only 1 lap down. Bixler is 3 laps down. He would end up being the lucky dog no matter what place he is. And being able to get the wave around, at least get him back on the lead lap. But I don't think even the man himself, Dale Earnhardt, can't make a 22 car pass to get to the front. So Robinson looking pretty dismal back there in the 18th position, especially after getting scoring on the pole here tonight. So we'll see how this goes. This is definitely what you get at a super speedway. There's not really a rhyme or reason. Good place to start, good place to be. You just try your best to stay alive. All right, let's see how this gets rolling here as Isaac Salas is going to start his next restart. Out front, Chris Schaefer watches him, and he's going to have the help. So Salas not off to as big of a restart like he said, and he wanted to make sure he remedies that. Lynch may drop down, leave Lowrance out, but they, from what Schaefer was saying, Lowrance is actually with him here tonight. We'll see how with him he is as the outside line is starting to pick up pace. Watch Wetzel slide to the top. Here he comes. Wow, here it comes, 3 wide. I knew this was going to happen. Right now, Kyle Moonen on the outside, Lynch trying to squeeze him toward the top. They're scraping along the wall. Oh, mercy, look at them. Here they come. Kyle Moonen now squeezes down on Lynch. Lynch pushes right on back, pushing Bandy Belt to the top of the top line. No can do. Looks like they are 1, 2, 1, 3, and 5 in that line on the outside. What can they do? Doyle Lowrance cuts Isaac Salas off. Salas now in trouble. Salas watching now the lead. Now ready. White flag. All right. What happens, happens. So now is where we make friends. Now is where the enemies. Here we go. Chris Schaefer sitting third. Isaac Salas second. Doyle Lowrance has the lead. Robert Lynch has got to stay behind him here. Well, looks like Roger Craig sitting in the middle. Roger Craig almost taking it 4 wide here. Chris Schaefer blocking the Bandy Belt guys. Bandy Belt now moving. Here it comes. There's the wreck. Back of the field now totaled out. Here comes the next set. Kyle Moonen is around, and I would probably say that looked intentional. Doyle Lowrance may be driving to the win here. If Isaac Salas can lay off just a hair here, he might be able to sling around him. John Rayner thinking just that as he ended up a little gap with Luis Meglin sliding to the top. Isaac Salas in the front. Isaac might have the win. In the front, John Rayner's giving the push in front. Here it comes. Isaac Salas wins it at Talladega. John Rayner second and Doyle Lowrance ended up third. Chris Schaefer in 7th position. Sean Grace 9th. I don't think that's enough to take the lead. Holy cow. All right. We're gonna do this one. I'm not gonna let this one go. I'm not gonna let this one go. We're gonna show all you guys from the outside looking in what happens here. Because always that last lap wreck is always what determines who wins, who loses. Let's take a look at it. From the top side, we saw how the Vanderbilt guys got lined up. You're seeing Kyle Moonen getting all sorts of loose here. Contact with Wetzel. There's Lacey. You see them moving around here. That's Lacey off the chart. Now, what I'm curious of here is Kyle Moonen. And I don't know how or why this one happened. Let's take a look at it top side. Yeah, it looked like a hook here. Boy, and it gets Steven Goldner. So every single one of the Vanderbilt guys got wiped out and off the face of the map on this one. Wow. Yeah, I just don't know on this. This was... I wonder if Steven Goldner blinked out there. He might have been over on the incidents because he disappears. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That was a run here toward the end. Right now, that is exactly what Isaac Salas needed, was the win here. Congratulations by him making that win. We're going to go ahead and reel in some of these guys, talk to them about how this race went, because good for some, better for others, worse for a lot. All right, we'll be right back. Everybody, I have caught up with our third place finisher, Doyle Lowrance. You were up front most of this night here. Started third, ended third, led good bit of the race. What was the key to staying up front and mostly out of trouble?
That's the key right there. You said it, staying out of trouble. Just trying to keep the truck clean, not to put myself in a position where I was going to wreck myself or anybody else. So just keeping it clean and staying in a position where I can capitalize at the end.
Was there anybody out there that you felt you could work around? I know we talked to Chris Schaefer earlier in the race, and he said you were working with the Turn 1 racing guys. Did it seem to work in your favor here tonight?
Yeah, I ran some with Chris and some with Isaac, and I can't remember the other 2 trucks I ran that I pushed. So I'm not really sure. Like I said, I just try to keep the truck clean and stay up front and be there at the end.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on a podium finish here tonight. Your Chevrolet made it for a third-place finish, obviously. The 3 on the side of the truck worked pretty well. Give me a shout-outs here for the making the third-place finish in Talladega.
Yeah, all right. First off, I just want to apologize for not making the photo shoot. I was worried about minimizing and starting up Discord, so I apologize to the rest of the guys for that. Shout out just for Roger and the league for putting on an awesome show here, and you guys broadcasting. I really appreciate it. And this is always fun to go back and watch the replay and see what I did wrong and see what I did do right, and kind of learn from that. So yeah, looking forward to next week.
All right, Doyle, appreciate you coming out here. Super Speedway, I would probably say most of these guys don't take it to heart if a little mistake was made. At least there were some fast repairs for some guys to boomerang back out there. But congratulations on your finish here tonight.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, and that's going to be it for Doyle Lowrance. I believe we run into our second-place finisher, that being John Rayner. And I've got to say, I wouldn't expect this, but the Salty Dogs get a driver in the podium. John Rayner, talk to me here. What a race this was.
Oh God, yeah, that was a really good. It was a really good race. It was a yeah, it was hectic near the end there, which I figured most of the races are. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I was just say, you said it was a good race. Is that because you weren't caught up in 90% of the wrecks here tonight?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll tell you, I've been in a lot of races and these things, and yeah, with luck of the draw, I've been caught up in a lot of those wrecks tonight. For whatever reason, I held my own and stayed out of the wrecks, so I was very fortunate.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely worked out pretty well here at Talladega for you. You actually started 9th position and came out second, so you've been up front most of the night. I know you had a little time in the light with the lead. How'd it feel having everybody in your rearview mirror instead?
I was anxious, let me tell you. It doesn't happen very often to me, but no, I was trying to keep it safe, but yeah, I was a lot of anxiety going on there, trying to keep it out front there. But yeah, a lot of good guys running, a lot of guys were helping me with the drafting, so really appreciate it. That's for sure.
All right, we appreciate you coming out here, putting on a great show, keeping it clean out there. Talk to me a little bit about next week where we head to Las Vegas. 60 laps we're going to be running there. How confident do you feel heading off of the Super Speedway and into more of the mile-and-a-half area?
Yeah, I feel I can hopefully keep up in the top 10 on that track there. I've raced it a few times. It's certainly a lot different than here in Talladega, but got to be a little more. It's going to be a little more challenging with tires and that, but I'm hoping that I can keep it fairly clean throughout most of the race, and with the luck I had tonight, keep out of any incidents. That's my goal. That's my goal.
Well, staying out of those incidents and placing this high, if I am not mistaken, you've got a gold dog bone on the way.
I think so. Yeah, I'm getting hungry, just waiting for it to come.
There you go. All right, well, we'll make sure we crack the whip and get Roger Craig on that. Congratulations on your second place finish. Give me your shout-outs.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Appreciate it. Yeah, I said Roger puts a lot of work into all the various races during the year. So I want to shout out to Roger for all the work he does and everybody in behind the scenes, including yourselves and your broadcast team. And yeah, everybody does a really good job.
All righty, man. Appreciate it. And we'll catch up with you next week.
Okay, Patrick. Thanks again.
All right, everybody. John Rayner, and what a wild run he had. He's been battling back in front, and just able to find that sweet spot here tonight to be able to squeak through and make it. I mean, I would say, you know, I don't say he doesn't have it in him, but every race he just he's been in the back, kind of waits for everybody to wreck themselves, get to the front, but he keeps getting caught in it, and he tries to slide around the outside and gets hammered each and every time. But this was his night, and he was able to make it back. John Rayner right now 18th in points. He was up 6 from the last race, and this is going to work out really well for him. Getting to the front here, getting a good burst of points to continue on his charge here. Let's go ahead and rotate to our race winner. We talked to him earlier here, so we had to Cool Ray Victory Lane for the Tim Chapman Pickup Cup here. Our race winner is Isaac Salas with Venom Racing. Right now, he's got to be pretty beside himself and excited that he ended up finishing in that number 1 position. Isaac, we talked to you earlier, and you made it, man. You finally won.
Yeah, buddy. I'm glad I wasn't in the broadcast booth because I was screaming, baby. I was screaming.
Well, talk to me on these last few laps here. You were getting out front. Vanderbilt lined up on the outside. I'm gonna say it. I called it, and then it just absolutely blew the back of the field to pieces, and you were able to get a good runaway there. Talk to me on these last few.
Yeah, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had a very specific game plan, and that was to stick to the bottom. I knew that once Doyle was out in front, everything like that, I knew if I just stick to his bumper, I knew that high side was most likely not going to want to play nice with each other. It just kind of seems like it's the name of the game anymore. So I knew if they did that, they probably wouldn't have, that good of momentum kind of coming to the front stretch. I didn't know it was going to be, full-blown backstretch that they weren't going to be around. They weren't really a factor. And so I was like, you got a big old push from behind. I want to say was it Lewis? I don't know how you say his name, but
I think it was Louis Meglin back there in the 50
Louis?
Toyota.
Yeah, buddy. But man, I knew if I could I backed up just a little bit to him, and then shot out like a cannon. And I tried to play the high game and then dipped it underneath Doyle. And then right as I dipped underneath, there was John with just this massive run. So I was like, well, I think you found your sweet spot. Don't let him get around you. So, yeah, man, I just rode onto to John's draft, and I was like, nope, don't let him get by. So, yeah, man, it was an eventful green white checkered. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that was wild, man. I was glad to see, but as soon as I've heard from many drivers that leading on the last lap is the worst thing you can possibly do because the exit of turn 4 is the make or break of the race. It definitely seemed to be exactly what happened here tonight. Doyle was out in front, and then you were just able to undercut him, and that was it. Around you went. I'm glad you didn't get turned. Some guys would have probably sent you below that yellow line to try to hold you off there, but you were able to kind of sneak in underneath. Stella out here in the chat is saying, wow, Isaac in the booth from both sides.
Thanks, Stella. I appreciate it. I wanted to come say hi to Pat, Got to hang out with them all last night, and then I decided to take the night off and rest my voice. Well, we didn't do much resting after I won, but yeah, it was fun.
Oh, yeah, well, definitely screaming. So you'll be screaming in the next week. Maybe we'll see you for the Asphalt League next week at Vegas. If you end up competing there, what's kind of your outlook on that race coming off a win?
Patience, buddy. That's kind of how I attacked those Xfinity cars when they first kind of came around. And I put up some really good finishes just by being truly patient, kind of saving my tires and coming late in the run. So I think that's going to be a big key. I'm actually going to actually do some practice here during the week. I know it's not very Isaac-like, but hey, it got me a win this week. So what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think this also moves you into the Xfinity run this week, if I'm not mistaken. So that means, oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah. I know. Going for the Triple Crown on Thursday, let me tell you.
Well, you see where you're going. Fontana is actually where you're going. They are not following what we're doing.
Oh, I know. I've been practicing, to be honest with you. I knew I knew the moment that the trail was coming out that it was gonna basically follow NASCAR's true schedule, and I was like, well, you're gonna need to start practicing, man. So that's kind of been the outlook I've had for well, I mean, basically since this season started.
Oh yeah, well, definitely something to keep in mind at Fontana. Watch for that bump into 3. It's a nasty one. So give
Yeah,
me a shout out to your
she's
Isaac,
brutal,
because
baby.
you made it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. That was one to be proud of, let me tell you. But thanks to all those guys over at Venom. They support the crap out of me, dude. You guys have no idea. Dean, the Super Dirt Car Series, Magnum Race Designs, Got Your Six Racing Network, RSN Trackside, Simtrax Broadcasting with you, buddy.
Woo!
Yeah, absolutely, man. Dirt Track Bank, Mission 22, and everything that they do for our veterans. Top Notch Trucking. Yeah, everybody here in Coast to Coast that makes it happen. Everything from everybody from the league owners to the admins to just the drivers. Like I say, damn near every time here. I love it here. We have a great group of guys running it and running the show. And thank you, buddy, for the broadcast. I'm freaking stoked to go back and watch. You have no idea.
Oh yeah.
Then yeah, just thanks to our veterans. Thanks to my old lady for letting me race on a Tuesday. And then yeah, just my friends and family that support me.
All right, Isaac Salas, the 05 from Venom Racing. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Awesome, thank you, buddy.
All right, everybody, and that's going to do it for tonight. What a wild run this ended up being right here at the end. Just guys back and forth, different angles, different ways to get around. Let's go ahead and get our race results up so you can see where everybody placed. Isaac Salas, John Rayner, Doyle Lowrance, 1, 2, and 3. Chris Schaefer, who desperately needed it to get back into the lead, ended up 7th. Sean Grace is 9th, and they're going to try to duke it out at Las Vegas next week. Patrick Morrison here, signing off with Simtrax Broadcasting. This was a wild one here at Talladega. I'm not 100% sure what we all expected, but we definitely got something to think about as we head into next week. Stay tuned for the Coast to Coast Racing Network on Wednesdays, or you'll find me at the finale with the Racing Revolution before they start Season 3. You guys, I'll see you all next time. Be well, be safe, be kind. I'll see all you guys next time.